remember my very first girlfriend. And no, not the will you be my girlfriend type ordeal that you guys have on the school playground where during lunch period all you do is hold hands and maybe, just maybe, you'll kiss. I'm talking about a real girlfriend. Her name was Marissa Lopez. And boy, she was a pretty young thing. Now, me and Marissa did have a couple of problems. The biggest one is that she didn't speak too much English. I didn't speak too much Spanish. But when we helped each other, when we complimented each other so well, I taught her English. She taught me Spanish and we worked in harmony. Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys this story is because that's how your side deck should be to your main deck. One complimenting the other. One helping the other one succeed. And if you guys didn't know how relationships work, well, shit, I just gave you relationship advice in the form of YuGiOh. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go ahead and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, go ahead and hit that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. You see, I'm getting my thing back. Also want to give a special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Without you guys, videos like this would not be possible. Also want to give a special thanks to my newest Patreon, Jordan Donner. Welcome to the group. I'm really excited to have you as part of the top dogs. Without further ado, I present to you how to side deck properly. This is going to be a very fun video. And remember, your side deck and your main deck, or your main deck has probably had more relationships than you. I can actually help you fix that, but you gotta subscribe. I bet you guys are wondering what happened to that perfect relationship. There was nothing that can go wrong. And I'm not gonna tell you guys that I ruined that relationship. I'm gonna say that the Saints won 4 in a row, bros. Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? And while I am wearing a Kenny Vaccaro jersey, and I know he's in Tennessee, but Drew Brees is the GOAT, guys. Oh my God, if you didn't see that phenomenal game, you were missing out. I didn't see that phenomenal game. I was watching Overwatch. But on to what we were talking about. Side decking is really important, but some things that I really fail to see people realize is that in order for you to have a great side deck, you must know what your event or what people are playing at your event. This is really easy for local level events. People just don't seem to do this. I don't know why people would go to a local level event siding for Goki, go to the event and not see any Goki decks. The same reason why if people are all playing a Pendulum deck or there's a vast majority of Pendulum decks at your local level event, why wouldn't you start siding or mainboarding cards for Pendulum even though it's not popular inside of the meta? You guys really do need to address what is happening at the event that you are going to, because that is the only thing that matters at that current point in time. The next thing for YCS and regional level events or anything higher than the local level event, what I like to do is go there a bit prior to the event without a deck list or without a side deck or missing hand traps inside of it. I like to just put the core of cards and, you know, just have the basically maybe 6 to 8 cards missing depending on what I wanted to place in the main board and sideboard, and then scout around, looking around, seeing what information people are going to give me about what they are playing. Now, I don't go up to them and walk to them and ask them what they're playing. If I ever ask you what you're playing, I'm probably not playing in the event. But I like to look around and get as much information as possible, and then from there decide to make a deck list. Maybe more people are playing Cyber Dragons, or maybe more people are playing Sky Strikers. From there on out, I can decide on what cards that I would like to play. Information is the most important thing in probably any game that you guys will ever play. So having as much will give you the advantage between wins and losses. You guys want to make your deck as most optimal as possible. There's been quite a few people that have not topped an event because they decided to play a techie card against a certain deck and didn't see the deck all day because it wasn't represented at that event. Do not be that sucker, guys. Play smart, play with information. Now that you are done analyzing your event, you might actually want to start to build your first side deck. Now, yes, there is actually 2 side decks that you guys need to be worried about. I know you guys are scratching their head like, whoa, where did this first side deck come from? It's actually in your main board. Now, your main deck, I like to say around 10% maximum should be dedicated to side deck. Now, I know you guys are probably scratching your head and be like, what do you mean side deck? No, you don't actually place cards for a specific deck inside of your main board to counter a specific strategy. You want to keep it broad, you want to keep these cards generic, and you want to more often than not be able to hit multiple decks at once with these side deck cards. quote unquote, in your main deck. For example, Ash Blossom, Joyous Spring, and Jolene Lockbird are prime candidates for those side deck cards because they are essentially side deck cards in your main board. Why? Because they hit so many decks into the format. Trickstars, Goki, Sky Strikers, the list goes on. These two cards can hit just about every single deck in the format or are safe to place inside your main deck for now. Now, I'm not saying that these cards are going to be safe forever. The meta is going to have a shift where different decks are going to require, or there's going to be different strategies that will require different cards for you to place inside of your main deck. But again, you want to commit at least 10% of your deck, at least 10 cards to your, or I'm sorry, at most 10 cards to your main deck of generic sideboarding. This is going to help you with your strategy, allowing you to pop off with your cards. And even more importantly, it's going to stop your opponent from popping off with their strategy. And 10% maximum is going to give you the ability to open it. Now, if you guys are trying to get the minimum, I would probably side or have those cards, at least 6 cards in my main board, maybe 8, because Called by the Grave is just such a great card. And as long as hand traps are running around, Called by the Grave will be good. So it's really up to you guys. I wouldn't commit more than 10 if you're playing a 40 card deck, and I wouldn't commit less than 6 if you guys are playing a deck that wants to be competitive inside of a local level event. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. The hardest part of building a great side deck is already done. You've already analyzed your meta, and you're already playing cards in your main deck to help you counter those strategies, but not too specific so you can counter a good vicinity of strategies. Now, the last thing you have to do is perfect your side deck, and that is simple. You just have to remember one thing. Your side deck is built for basically 2 things and 2 things only. Either A, it's built to counter your opponent's strategy completely, just completely ruin their day. Or B, it's built to counter whatever your opponent's using to counter you. If it's none of those cards, then you should not be playing it in your side deck. Now, there is an exception to the rule. Using a smoke screen strategy, playing an entirely different strategy in your main deck to side out your main strategy to place another strategy in is a pretty smart idea. It doesn't work all the time, but it actually is an exception to the rule. And while it is an exception, it's not really, because your opponent is expected to be playing cards to counter you, and switching out to another strategy is a counter to their counter. So what I like to do is something called the Principle of 5. And the Principle of 5 is a technique that I developed to help me counter the best decks of the format. I don't worry about the other decks of the format because I'm playing one of the better decks, and I shouldn't have to basically play down to the level. If they're gonna play a certain card to completely ruin my day, hey, you got me. But I'm gonna put you on you better have it than as opposed to actually playing cards to stop it and lose to the better decks. What I'm gonna be starting talking about is the Principle 5, is that you have 3 great strategies into any given format, 3 of the best decks of the format. I'm gonna play 5 cards for every single strategy, and that will help me have a great success against those decks. Now, 3 of those cards are gonna be going first or second, and the other 2 are going to be going for first or second, depending on my matchup. Let's say, for example, I have a terrible matchup against Goki. I'm almost guaranteed to lose that game 1 unless I commit some serious resources. In that particular situation, I would main board, or I would side those 3 cards for going first and 2 cards for going second. Again, if I'm going against a strategy that I'm almost guaranteed that game 1, I would side deck those 3 cards for going second and those 2 cards for going first. Now, these cards don't have to be very specific. Fortunately for us, there are quite a few side deck cards that are pretty generic that could be used against other strategies. Cards like Twin Twisters, Goals in Match, Rivalry of the Warlords are not only good against certain great decks of the format, but they're also good against a myriad of other decks. With that being said, you guys really have to sit down and think about what are the best decks of the format and how you guys, or what cards you guys can use to counter them. I'll probably make a video on that too. And we also have a Destroying the Meta series where I tell you specifically how to counter certain decks. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. Today, I just kind of glazed over what you guys should be doing with your side deck. We'll go a little bit deeper into a different video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video overall. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. And if you didn't, let us know down below in the comment section what we could be doing to be better. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day like I am.